Welcome to our deep dive on AI. You know, artificial intelligence. The thing everyone's talking about these days. We've got a whole stack of notes here to help us break it all down. And trust me, it's a lot more interesting than you might think. Think of this as AI explained, even if you've never, well, even thought about AI before.
It's true. AI can seem a little intimidating at first, but
Mm.
it's really all around us already. And once you kind of get a handle on how it works, it's actually pretty fascinating stuff.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is AI? I mean, we hear the term, but what does it actually mean?
So, simply put, AI is when machines or software can do things that usually require, well, human intelligence.
Okay.
Think about things like learning, solving problems, making decisions, even understanding what you're saying.
Right.
Those are all things that we consider intelligent. And AI is all about getting machines to do those same things.
So it's not just like robots doing backflips. It's more about how machines think.
Exactly. It's about replicating those cognitive abilities that we have, but in a machine. And that artificial part just means that it's created by humans, not something that, occurs naturally.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's get real here. What are some examples of AI that we're already using? Stuff we see every day.
Well, think about the last time you asked Siri or Alexa for directions or to play a song.
Oh, sure.
That's AI in action right there. It's understanding your voice and then responding to your request. Or how about when Netflix suggests a movie you might like? It's using AI to analyze your viewing history and then predict your preferences.
Yeah. And what about those chatbots that can like write stories or even code? I mean, those things are wild.
Absolutely. Those are powered by AI as well.
Yeah.
Specifically, something called large language models. They're trained on these massive amounts of data and can generate some incredibly human-like text.
Wow. So it's not all just kind of behind the scenes stuff. AI is creating things too.
It is.
That's pretty cool. But I'm curious, how long has this AI thing been around? Is this like a new invention?
Not at all. Actually, the idea of AI has been around for decades. Way back in the 1950s, Alan Turing, this brilliant mathematician, he proposed a test to see if a machine could exhibit behavior that was indistinguishable from a human. It's called the Turing test, and believe it or not, it's still debated today.
Wait, so they were already thinking about this stuff way back then. That's pretty forward thinking.
It really was. And then in 1956, the term artificial intelligence was officially coined. It's like that was the birth of AI as an actual field of study. But those early days, they were kind of like baby steps. Think about clunky chess programs that weren't actually that good.
So AI had its awkward teenage years too, huh?
You could say that. There are even periods called, get this, AI winters.
And AI winters.
Yeah, where progress stalled and people just kind of lost interest for a while. But then came some major breakthroughs, like in 1997 when IBM's Deep Blue supercomputer beat Garry Kasparov, the world chess champion, at his own game.
I remember that. That was a huge deal. Was that like a turning point for AI?
It definitely was. It really showed that AI could compete at the highest levels of human intellect. And then things really took off in 2012 with what we call the deep learning revolution.
Deep learning. That sounds intense. What's that all about?
Imagine a computer program that learns by mimicking the human brain. That's deep learning in a nutshell. It uses these artificial neural networks to analyze tons of data and learn from it, much like we do.
So it's like AI got a serious upgrade.
Absolutely. Deep learning revolutionized the field of AI, and it's really behind many of the advancements we see today.
Okay. I'm starting to get the picture here, but it sounds like AI is more than just one thing.
Right. You're exactly right. AI is actually a whole family of technologies, each with its own unique superpowers. Think of it like a superhero team. You've got your large language models, your computer vision experts, your reinforcement learning masters, all working together.
A superhero team. I love that analogy. So tell me more about these different types of AI. What can they actually do, and how are they being used out there in the real world?
Well, let's start with those large language models, the LLMs, since we already touched on them a little bit.
Okay, let's hear it. What can these LLMs actually do?
Well, think of them as like the master communicators of the AI world.
Okay.
They excel at anything related to language. So that's writing, translating, even having conversations. You know that chatbot you mentioned earlier, ChatGPT?
Yeah.
That's powered by a very powerful LLM called GPT-4. And it can write stories, poems, even code, all based on the prompts you give it.
So it's like having a personal Shakespeare or a coding wizard at your fingertips.
Pretty much.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. And LLMs are being used in all sorts of ways, from helping writers overcome writer's block to automating customer service chats.
Wow. Okay, that's one superhero down. Who else is on this AI team? What about the ones that can see? You mentioned computer vision earlier, right?
Exactly. Computer vision, or CV, is like the eyes of the AI world. These systems can see and interpret images and videos.
Wait, so machines can actually see now? Like, understand what they're looking at?
In a way, yes. They can analyze images and identify objects' faces, even emotions.
Wow.
Think about how your phone unlocks by recognizing your face.
Oh, right.
That's computer vision at work.
And what about those self-driving cars? I bet that uses computer vision too.
Absolutely. Self-driving cars rely heavily on computer vision to navigate roads, detect obstacles, and understand their surroundings. It's also used in healthcare, where AI can analyze medical images, like X-rays and CT scans, to help doctors make diagnoses.
Wow, that's incredible. So computer vision is already having a huge impact on all sorts of industries. Okay, who's next on our AI superhero team?
Well, we've got the language experts, we've got the visionaries. But what about the learners? That's where reinforcement learning comes in.
Reinforcement learning, what's that all about?
Imagine you're training a dog, right?
Yeah.
You give it treats for good behavior and maybe a firm no for bad behavior.
Right.
Reinforcement learning works in a very similar way. The AI learns by trying different actions and getting feedback, figuring out what works best to achieve its goals.
So it's like AI learning from experience, kind of like how we learn from trial and error.
Exactly. A famous example of this is AlphaGo. That's an AI developed by DeepMind that learned to play the incredibly complex game of Go and eventually beat world champion.
Wow. So AI can learn to play games too. That's impressive. Yeah. But how does that, translate to real-world applications?
Well, reinforcement learning is being used a lot in robotics. That's where AI can learn to control robots to perform tasks in the real world. It's also used in areas like finance, where AI can learn to make better trading decisions based on market data.
Okay, so we've got the talkers, the seers, and the learners. Is there anything else?
There's one more very important member of the team, and that's machine learning, or ML.
All right, bring on the machine learning master. What's their superpower?
Machine learning is all about finding patterns in data and then using those patterns to make predictions. Think about Netflix recommending movies based on your viewing history. That's machine learning in action. It's also used to detect credit card fraud, personalize online ads, even predict traffic patterns.
So it's like AI having a crystal ball, but instead of magic, it's using data and algorithms.
Exactly. And there's actually a subset of machine learning that's super powerful called deep learning. Remember those artificial neural networks we talked about earlier?
Uh-huh.
That's what deep learning uses to analyze even more complex data and make even more sophisticated predictions.
Okay, this is a lot to take in. So many different types of AI, all doing all these amazing things.
Right.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface here.
We have. But before we go any further, there's one more type of AI I want to mention, and that's generative AI.
Generative AI. All right, hit me with it. What's that all about?
So this is the creative side of AI. Generative AI can create new content, so things like text, images, music, even code. You may have heard of DALL-E or Midjourney.
I have, yeah.
Those are both examples of generative AI that can create these really stunning images from text descriptions.
So it's like AI becoming an artist.
It really is.
That's amazing.
Generative AI is opening up this whole new world of creative possibilities, and we're really just beginning to explore its potential.
Wow. This is also fascinating. But I'm curious, why should we care about AI? I mean, how is it actually impacting our lives beyond, cool images and chatbots?
That's a great question, and it's one that we're actually going to explore in a lot more detail in the next part of our deep dive. But let me just say this. AI is no longer a futuristic fantasy. It's here, it's now, and it's already changing our world in some really profound ways, whether we realize it or not.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. I can't wait to hear more about the real-world impact of AI. But for now, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back to explore how AI is shaping everything from healthcare to transportation to the future of work.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of AI.
All right, I'm ready to hear more about how AI is actually making a difference in the real world. It's one thing to talk about these amazing capabilities, but how is it all playing out in practice?
Well, let's start with healthcare, which is seeing some really transformative changes thanks to AI.
Okay.
One area where AI is really shining is in medical imaging.
Yeah.
Imagine algorithms that can analyze scans like X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, and often with even greater accuracy than human radiologists.
So it's like having a second set of superpowered eyes kind of helping doctors make diagnoses.
That's a great way to put it. And early detection is crucial for so many conditions, but it goes beyond just spotting things on scans. AI is also playing a vital role in drug discovery.
Hmm.
By sifting through massive data sets of molecular structures, AI can help identify promising drug candidates much faster and more efficiently than traditional methods.
So AI is speeding up the search for new cures and treatments. That's incredible.
Absolutely. And it's not just about finding new drugs. AI is also being used to personalize treatment plans for patients.
Oh, wow.
By taking into account someone's unique genetic makeup, their lifestyle, their medical history, AI can really help tailor treatments for better outcomes.
That's amazing. It's like having a custom-designed healthcare plan, all thanks to AI.
Exactly. But healthcare is just one example. Let's shift gears and talk about finance.
Okay.
AI is revolutionizing everything from fraud detection to investment strategies. AI algorithms can analyze vast amounts of financial data, all in real time, which helps identify suspicious transactions, patterns that might indicate fraud.
So AI is like a digital detective protecting our money.
Precisely. It's like having this super-powered watchdog constantly monitoring for any shady activity.
Yeah.
And on the investment side, we're seeing this rise of AI-powered robo-advisors, which provide automated financial advice and portfolio management.
So instead of like going to a human financial advisor, you can just have AI help you manage your investments.
That's the idea. These robo-advisors use algorithms to create personalized investment strategies based on your risk tolerance and financial goals.
That's pretty cool. It seems like AI is automating a lot of tasks that, humans used to do. Does that mean jobs are at risk? That's a question I hear a lot.
It's a valid concern and one that's important to address.
Right.
While it's true that AI will automate some jobs, it will also create new ones.
Okay.
The key is to adapt and focus on areas where human skills like creativity and critical thinking will always be in demand.
So it's not about AI replacing humans, but about finding ways for humans and AI to kind of work together.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the strengths of both. Think of AI as a really powerful tool that can augment our capabilities, helping us be more efficient, productive, and innovative.
Okay, that makes sense. So beyond healthcare and finance, where else are we seeing AI make an impact?
Well, think about customer service. Many companies are now using AI-powered chatbots to handle routine customer inquiries.
Right.
This frees up human agents to focus on more complex issues.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely interacted with those chatbots before. Sometimes it's hard to even tell if you're talking to a real person or not.
That's because the technology is getting so sophisticated. AI chatbots are becoming more conversational and empathetic, able to understand and respond to customer needs in a more natural way.
That's impressive. It seems like AI is really changing the way businesses interact with their customers.
It is. And let's not forget about transportation. We already talked about self-driving cars, but AI is also being used to optimize traffic flow, improve public transportation systems, and even make air travel more efficient.
So AI is making our commutes less stressful and our travel experiences smoother. I'm all for that.
Exactly. And these are just a few examples. We could talk for hours about all the ways AI is being applied in different industries.
I believe it. This is all so fascinating. I'm starting to see how AI is really woven into the fabric of our lives. But with all this power comes responsibility,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we've seen those sci-fi movies where AI takes over the world.
That's a great point, and one we should definitely address. While we don't need to worry about robots taking over anytime soon, it is crucial to think about the ethical implications of AI and make sure it's developed and used responsibly.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What are some of the ethical considerations we need to keep in mind as AI becomes more powerful and pervasive?
Well, one big concern is bias. AI algorithms are trained on data. And if that data reflects existing biases in society, then the AI can perpetuate those biases.
So if the data used to train an AI is biased, the AI itself will be biased. That makes sense, but how do we address that?
It's a complex issue, but it's one that researchers and developers are actively working on. It involves being more mindful of the data that we use to train AI, ensuring it's diverse and representative of, well, different perspectives.
Okay, so being careful about the data is key. What else should we be thinking about?
Another important consideration is privacy. As AI systems collect and analyze more data about us, We need to make sure that our privacy is protected and that this data is used responsibly and ethically.
Data privacy is a big deal, especially as AI becomes more integrated into our lives. Are there any regulations or guidelines in place to address this?
Yes, there are. Governments and organizations all around the world are actually working on developing regulations and guidelines for the ethical development and use of AI with a focus on data privacy and security.
That's good to hear.
Hmm.
So it sounds like there's a lot of work being done to ensure that AI is used for good, not for harm. But what about the future? What can we expect to see in the world of AI in the years to come?
Well, that's a question that could fill an entire deep dive on its own.
Right.
But let's just say that the future of AI is incredibly exciting, with advancements happening at an incredible pace.
Yep.
We can expect to see even more sophisticated AI systems, new applications that we can't even imagine yet, and a growing awareness of the importance of responsible AI development.
Okay, now I'm even more intrigued. I can't wait to hear more about what the future holds for AI. But for now, let's hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back to explore some of these future trends in more detail. We're back, and I am so ready to dive into the future of AI. It's been a wild ride so far, learning about all the different types of AI and how it's already changing the world. But what's next?
Yeah.
Where is this all headed?
Well, the future of AI, that's a topic that could fill, I don't know, countless deep dives. But I think it's safe to say we're on the cusp of some truly mind-blowing advancements.
Okay, so let's hear it. What kind of mind-blowing advancements are we talking about? Give us a glimpse into the future of AI.
One trend that I think is really exciting is the rise of what we call multimodal AI.
Multimodal AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about GPT-4o, that model that can blend text and images and sounds?
hmm
That's just the beginning. Imagine AI that can understand and interact with the world in an even more human-like way, seamlessly integrating all these different modes of input and output.
So instead of just talking to our AI assistants, we'll be able to, show them things, have them listen to music with us, and they'll understand it all.
Exactly.
That's wild.
It really opens up a world of possibilities. Think about AI assistants that can not only understand your words, but your tone of voice, your facial expressions.
Right.
It allows for much more natural and nuanced interactions.
That would be a game changer. It would be like having a truly intelligent companion, almost like a friend who understands you on a deeper level. What else is on the horizon for AI?
Another major trend is the increasing democratization of AI. So these powerful tools and platforms are becoming more accessible, meaning individuals and smaller organizations can leverage AI for their own purposes. It's not just for the big tech companies anymore.
So AI is becoming more accessible to everyone. That's great news. It means we'll see even more creativity and innovation, with people from all walks of life using AI to solve problems and create new possibilities.
Exactly. And as AI becomes more pervasive, we can expect to see it integrated into every aspect of our lives. I mean, think about it. Our homes will become smarter, kind of anticipating our needs and making our lives more comfortable and efficient. Our cars will become more autonomous, freeing us from the stress of driving and potentially making the roads much safer.
It's like AI will be the invisible hand that kind of orchestrates and optimizes our lives, taking care of all the little details so we can focus on the things that really matter most.
That's a great way to put it. But as AI becomes, more powerful and ubiquitous, it's crucial to remember those ethical considerations we talked about earlier.
Right.
We need to make sure that AI is developed and used responsibly in a way that benefits all of humanity.
That's a really important point. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of all these advancements, but we can't forget about the potential risks. So how do we ensure that AI is used for good and not for harm?
Well, it's a multifaceted challenge, that's for sure. It requires collaboration from researchers, policymakers, industry leaders, and really the public at large. We need to be mindful of the data used to train these AI systems, making sure it's diverse and representative to minimize bias. We need to prioritize privacy and security, safeguarding personal data and preventing misuse. And I think we need to have these open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of AI, involving a wide range of voices to help shape its development and deployment.
It sounds like a big responsibility, but also an incredible opportunity to shape the future of AI in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations.
Exactly. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's something that we're shaping together through our choices and actions. It's up to us to ensure that this incredibly powerful technology is used to create a more just, equitable, and sustainable world for everyone.
Wow, that's a powerful thought. This deep dive into AI has been an incredible journey. I mean, we've explored so much, from the fundamental concepts to real-world applications and even those ethical considerations that will shape the future of this transformative technology.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you, and I hope our listeners are feeling as inspired and as informed as I am.
I know I am. And it's clear that AI is no longer a futuristic fantasy. It's a reality that is already changing our world in some really profound ways. And as we move forward, it's really up to all of us to embrace the possibilities while navigating the challenges responsibly. So to our listeners, I encourage you to keep learning, keep exploring, keep asking questions about the role AI will play in our lives, because the future of AI is ultimately in our hands. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Until next time, keep those minds curious.